This is PACWEST at home, standing or sitting, social distancing away
Yeah,
from Cameron Gay at VIU, going into his fifth and final season. Hey, how have you been getting through this pandemic, Cam?
slowly. It's been a process, especially when it hit right when the season was gearing up for playoffs. You kind of such an anticlimactic end to the season. So it was one of those things you kind of had to sit there and swallow for a little bit. But it's been good, and it's kicking back up. So you can kind of see the end, kind of getting there. So.
Feel like you were ripped off from a birth of the Nationals and playing for national.
It's hard to say it was ripped off because obviously a pandemic, it's something that none of us have really experienced.
Right.
So it's definitely, going to Toronto would have been an amazing experience for me. Obviously, I've never even been on the east side of North America, so going over there would have been an experience for me. So I wouldn't say ripped off. I was definitely disappointed because I wanted to see what our team had. I felt like going into it, we've played really good basketball, and I was really excited to try and go back to back. And with the group of guys that we had, I was really excited to head over there. But
How have you been training? Have you kept up training?
uh, to be honest, there was a lull when it happened. I kind of took that break and really wanted to sit back and kind of examine what I wanted to do. The training's definitely kicked back up. Being able to go see Coach Matt now and go see him and kind of work out with him and get going. But it's been more natural, right? You can't go to the weight room. So it's a lot of running outside, a lot of body weight stuff. So it's definitely been a transition and just get outside and just be active. That you can't really sit in the gym and get the weights going a lot right now because of all the cancellation stuff. But just get outside and try and be active and not sit on the couch too much.
Well, how have you done that in Nanaimo? Have you stayed in Nanaimo the whole time, and have you?
Yeah, so I stayed in Nanaimo the whole time. I'm lucky to get a job here most of the time, and I got a job through quarantine and everything, so I was able to stay busy that way. I was really fortunate to do that. We have a park right behind our house that I go run at. Golf. I did a lot of golfing, going out and just kind of relaxing out on the course. Something that's still physical, but not strenuous, but at least gets me outside and active and everything.
I've seen you on the basketball court. You're a good basketball player. How's your golf game?
It can improve, but but it's fun. I love golf. I think it's a challenging sport that not a lot. You feel like you do the same 10 swings and there's 10 different results and you just kind of live with it and move on to the next hole. But It's definitely something that keeps my competitive edge going. Every time I go out, I try and beat the next score, and that's just kind of what I've filled the competitiveness with.
Keep your mind busy too.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you can get in the lull just sitting around the house doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it was like the first couple of weeks, kind of adjusting to like being told, no, don't go in the gym. You can't do this, can't do that. It was kind of like, well, I've been doing this for 2 years now here. And we had the championship run. We had maybe 2 weeks, and then we were into summer workouts that last year. So getting that break in March and then not knowing when it's going to start back up, you kind of got, it was definitely a little confusing to start.
Are you going to be comfortable when you get back on the floor, leaving the island, going to different centers, playing? Do you think you'll be comfortable?
Yeah. I feel comfortable here in Canada. I think that's one of the reasons, honestly, why I stayed up is back home. It got really bad. So that was kind of like the talk I had with my parents. Like, you're in a better place up here, right? So, I feel pretty safe, and getting here, we just had 2 VIU camps to work out with kids and stuff like that. And it was a step to normalcy. But, at the start, it was like, can't play one-on-one. You got to sanitize every time we take a break, like stuff like that. Like, the precautions here have been taken very well, and I think a lot of people are accepting those. And, I would feel 100% comfortable to get back out there. But that's also a biased opinion because I just want to get back out there. So I'll say yes no matter what. But I definitely do feel safe up here for sure.
But it's encouraging that parents are sending kids to the Mariners camp.
Oh, absolutely. And we take precautions here. Like when we check in kids, we have to check them in every day. They go to the same check-in. They have their own little cubby for their stuff. Like, I mean, it's very as isolated as you can get with however many kids are on the court, you know. So it's encouraging to see different faces now, you know. Those first month you were seeing the same face and the same idea of the day. Like, you wake up, you have the same routine, you know. It was getting kind of repetitive. So it was nice to get out there for a couple weeks and see the kids like smile again and play a few games and stuff. So
yeah. What do you anticipate once the PACWEST season gets rolling? Do you anticipate back to normal and playing once it gets going, or do
you know, that's always the question I think of, you know, like, what is normal now? Like, we kind of figure out, like, we got to figure out that part, you know? So of course I want to see like the fans in the stands, the competitive edge. Like, you watch, I don't know if like the NBA bubble, it's just different. You got the virtual fans, but they got to make their own energy in a different way. I definitely see that being an issue, like trying to figure out like, how do we get our own energy in an empty place? And we don't get virtual fans. We don't get we don't get a bubble or anything like that, but it's definitely something that you're going to have to get used to find that new normal with a new team, especially coming in. We're going to have some new pieces. And so it's going to be different to try and get out there and compete with different guys. So
now that it's your fifth and arguably your last year, I mean, out of all the years, this is probably the one that you want to play more than any other time.
Of course. I love basketball. I've loved it growing up. So this is something that I want to keep with me as long as I can. Of course, I want to get out there as fast as possible, but I also want to be safe with everyone there and stuff like that. And, you know, that's kind of the first pill you have to swallow is the safety first, right? Of course, you want to get out there and play and do that, but you got to realize there's a bigger picture, you know, maybe not me personally, but for everyone else that could be affected also. You got to just figure it out and kind of get going with it.
How long do you want that hair to grow?
It definitely needs a trim, huh? It's one of those things where you don't, on a hot day, you're like, just shave it all off. I gotta get rid of the last couple of weeks. It's been hot here, and it's like you wake up and you're just like, I just want this all gone. But you know, I've done it before, and I love donating it, and so I'm just kind of waiting for that time to go donate it again. But it's one of those things I've always loved to do it. I've always had the long hair to the dramatic short hair. So it's definitely something I like to play around with, you know, and it's always fun to have until it goes away. So I try and have it until I can't.
Well, good stuff, man. Stay safe the rest of the way here, and hopefully we'll see you on the floor sooner than later.
Of course. Anytime.